Yeah, I said
I'd like to.
She has spoken.
Ways and Means Committee meeting Tuesday, September 7th to order. Roll call, please. A present? Here?
Here. Here. Yes.
Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda? I do have one. Item 7A2, I'm removing that from the agenda. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Okay. Hearing nothing else, is there a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
There he is. I see his non-moving picture.
Yeah. Here. Yes.
I'm there.
Yes.
Yes. Here.
Yes. Okay. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes?
I'll move them. Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. At this time, we'll have our public input. Anyone wishing to speak to the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. None? Seeing none? Okay, we'll move on to petitions and communications. Item A, the approval of the refunding of the bond resolution.
I'll move it. Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
Commissioner. I was just going to ask, I see
Mr. Craig Coonan?
Bill is here. Reading some of that material, were you going to borrow just on what the balance on, or were you, because I think the 30 million might have been the total amount. Have we paid any off?
It's just the remaining balance. I believe it's $27 million.
That's good. Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item B, solution for the secondary road program.
So moved.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please. It certainly looks like it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Item C, the health insurance rate budget adjustments.
I'll move them.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Item D, approval of the BCTV sponsorship agreement for the 2021-22 school year.
I'll move it.
Support?
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, item E, the motion to approve the Boys and Girls Club Summer Program 2021.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion?
I know it's a great program that lots of parents use, so.
It's a great program, and typically this resolution would come before the summer instead of after, but due to a series of unfortunate events, we're a little later than normal.
Can't imagine how that would happen.
Yeah, yeah. So, roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, goodness. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Item F, utilization of the proposal to use the county seal and the Bay County resident ID seniors proposed
So
resolution.
moved.
Support?
Is Beth here? Do you want to talk about this a little bit?
So a while ago, back when I first started with Department on Aging, we used to do a county ID for our 60 and better. Polaroid picture, type it up, have them sign it, and then they could use it. We started getting a lot of questions lately that they can't get a birth certificate without some kind of form of state ID, but you can't get a state ID without a birth certificate, kind of thing. So we talked about it, and we came back with what it would look like. I did talk to corporate counsel, kind of brought her into it to see, make sure that we would do. And I think you can see the little, wonderful little explanation. Yes, that's my dog, Maya. But if we use the county seal, I think it's going to be more recognized by other places. And if they're voting or they're going to the store and writing a check and they can't get out, or they have to sign paperwork even at their apartment complex, and they need some kind of ID that says, hey, you're a county person, we thought, why not go ahead and start this back up again? I did put it in my budget for next year. We researched a really good program. I have tablets from the from a grant I got for, what did we just get done? No, not COVID, yeah, I wish for COVID. For the census, there we go, for the census. So we can download the program to these tablets, take them out, take their picture, get them to sign, come back, plug it back in, and print it out. It'll be about this size, for them to have and just carry in their wallet. That's why I wanted to use the county seal, just so that everybody recognizes it at other places. We have a lot of our seniors who can't get out, can't get appointments, right now, so.
Mr. Cronin?
Beth, would that be an ID that people could use provide for voting? Because
Yeah.
not everybody.
If that's what it is, if it's got the county seal on it, I think that will help it be recognized as something. We are going to ask for to sign them up, like for a consumer's bill, a rent receipt, something so that we know that, yes, they are a county resident and everything like that. So, yeah, we're just not going to do this willy-nilly. We're actually the case managers will be doing this. If somebody walks in and says, hey, I need an ID, well, if you walked in, you could possibly get one done at the other place. But if they need us, we're going to be, we're always going to be there. So.
Mr. Marshall?
Yeah, I just want to applaud you, Beth, and the staff for confronting an issue that we've all, I think, heard from regularly. People want to know, where can I get a state ID? And with the COVID situation, the state government's been very difficult to get through. And some people, for whatever reason, don't have an ID.
Yeah.
And with some of the restrictions coming down on voting in elections, it would be most beneficial with form of government, in addition to their name being in the voter file.
Right.
Help them, assist them. And also even for the absentee ballots, I believe you're going to have to forward some kind of formal ID. So whether you Xerox it and send it back or whatever, photocopy it.
And Amber and I
That'll
we talked about not going more than, for an expiration date, just so that, just in case they move, or they go out of the county or whatever, just no more than, every 2 years renew this for them if they needed it. So absolutely. We're just trying to look out for those who can't get out and get these IDs and make sure that they still are able to do everything that everybody else gets to do. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other discussion?
I just want to mention, I think it's a great opportunity, Beth. Thank you so much for your work involved. It's going to be a great opportunity for our residents. It's going to benefit many throughout the entire county.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right. Item G, is there a motion to accept the federal funding in accordance with the fiscal year 2022 Unified Work Program?
I'll move it.
Support?
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If we could, I see Laura's here with Ryan, so maybe if Laura, would you want to introduce Ryan? I don't know that we've met met him yet.
Yes, right. Thank you, through the chair. I would like to introduce, this is the first agenda item with our new Transportation Planning Director, Ryan Smith. Wants to stand up and- He's, he typically rides a motorcycle, he didn't today, all right? But we are very fortunate to have Ryan. It was an internal promotion. He had been with the Transportation GIS program previously for a number of years, and he moved up when Jay ended up getting a promotion elsewhere. So anyway, I wanted to welcome him. And he was ready and fully prepared. He works with, on BCATS.
Fresh blood.
Nice.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm on the BCATS committee, and Ryan's done a good job. This is a yearly report that we do, so a lot of the boilerplate, there's a lot of new stuff in there too, so it's a lot of work. Thank you.
Thank you.
A man of a lot of words, right?
Right, welcome aboard. Okay, item H, is there a motion to approve the payables?
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Item number I1, receive the general fund equity.
Move to receive.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Item 2, motion to receive the Executive Directive 2007-11.
So moved.
Support?
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. Item I3, a motion to increase the general fund's committed fund balance for budget stabilization.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. Item I4, resolution to approve the 3-year contract with Republic Services.
So moved.
Support?
Did I say that wrong?
No.
Okay. Moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
I hope that things go well. I know in Hampton Township, it got off to a rough start, so it won't be hopefully as big of a problem now.
Yeah, many residential areas have been challenged.
Mhm.
This is for county buildings.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Mr. Herrick, did you have a comment?
No. No.
Just checking. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 That's bad connection.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. All right. Item I5, budget adjustments for the child care fund.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, item I6, resolution for the countywide use of TextMyGov.
So moved.
Support?
Moved and supported. Any discussion? No? Okay, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And lastly, the resolution for Guidehouse Consulting regarding the American Rescue Plan Act.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Mr. Coonan?
If we could get an explanation on what they're, I guess this includes this year a $300 to $600 contract, and then possibly up to $6,000 for whether it's the,
Duration of our fund.
for the ARP money or for the stimulus dollars. So just, I don't know who would be able to give us that explanation, what they're going to do, how we're going to define, or how they're going to define what they're going to do, you know.
Well, as it was explained to me, it was the Guidehouse is a third-party fiscal consultant that our auditors recommend, and there's others that are using them too, but it's to make sure that when we're spending our American Rescue Plan Act money, that they will review also if we ask them to, but right now we're contracting just to see about having the calculation for the revenue loss that we have calculated, and it could be for like the year 2020, and then 21, and 22, and 23, so possibly the durations of the time frame, the revenue. That would be the contract that we're talking about. They have an hourly rate, but we would just be doing that. And then we look and see what other possibilities there are that this firm could do. But it'd be making sure that we're in compliance with this money, that how we're spending our 20 million correctly. That's what we're using.
So the $300 to $600 is, they're going to look at our revenue loss.
Yes.
We're providing them with all the information, and they're going to look at it.
Yes, but there's a lot of questions on it, whether you include certain things or exclude, or what to include. I've been on the chat with all the different counties, and I see the streams with all the various questions, and some counties will submit one way, some will do it another way. We want to make sure that we're calculating it correctly, because it'd be a shame that we calculate and then they turn around and have to pull that.
I'm talking about the revenue loss.
Revenue loss, correct.
Who provided assistance on the revenue loss in the past?
We've never done that in the past. This is part of the recovery to collect that money. This is part of that new program.
Part of, to collect what money?
To collect our revenue loss, what we have, what the county has, the amount of money that it has lost due to COVID. Because like the courts haven't been open, the revenues we've lost for the generations, for the fees, the court fees, and various things like that. We do calculations.
And then they will, work based upon what we ask them to do.
Yes.
So for example, if we had one big expenditure, just using this as an example, $10 million for a project or something, they're not going to charge us $6,000.
And that was.
Is it spelled out what they will get for review?
There's a contract that Corporation Counsel will review. There's a contract attached with it. But right now, what we're looking at is just that one, but there's other things that, it's a newer process that we're looking at, but that's what was explained to me.
Yeah, well, we're approving something,
But we're
a
maxing
contract that we don't
it.
even get to see.
Yes, right. There is a maximum amount that we're saying for the life of it, no more than $6,000 to be spent, just to have them, because they're looking at other counties, they're doing it countywide, and it was approved by the MAC. They're behind this too. So it's a whole new frontier, the spending of this money, and we gotta make sure we get it right, and we're properly vetting what we're doing correctly with the vendors all the way through the process.
A question. So with potential future projects, even though there's a max of $6,000, will that, say there's another project, will that come to board approval as well? Or is it, once this is approved, it's, you make the decision, anybody, up to $6,000?
$6,000, but if something comes along that's so unique, I'm sure we would bring it back to the board and explain that this is something new, something else that's happening as we go through this, because it's a big endeavor, this amount of money, and making sure that we're doing it properly, and that they don't have to take it back. That's why we're just being very cautious. We would bring it back.
Mr. Johnson?
Yep, so if I'm understanding.
And can you be by your microphone?
Sure,
So
absolutely, I can try.
Thank you.
I know that there have been previous attempts to calculate revenue loss, especially for the first year, using the formula that they allow for, which is, it also has like the 4.1 multiplier.
Correct.
All right. And so those estimates then, and how that was put together, what you're basically doing right now is simply contracting with these people to look those over to see if that was done appropriately.
Yeah, and make sure it's in compliance, because there is a lot where other counties say, include this, I didn't include that, I did this, I did that, and we want to make sure we maximize to pick up every possible amount that we have.
Because the revenue loss is one of the options that gives you the greatest flexibility to be able to spend the money and make sure you're doing things.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. And so if we were to do this for the next 4 years, which you are allowed to do.
Correct.
Then would they charge around the same cost that this is, which is why it has that cap on it of $6,000?
Yeah, and yes, that is correct. That is correct.
And, Mr. Redmond.
Yeah, so we'll get to see this contract before one of the chairmen won't sign it, so We see it.
Yes, there is a contract with the paperwork. Jan was showing it to me like Friday, and I know that it's going to go through Corporation Council, and it's got the rates per hour for if they're working on something.
One of
Yes.
the things I'd like to see, and I think the board ought to see, is the contract, and what, is it gonna go through 2024? Or is it gonna go right through 2026? Because we don't have to spend the money until 2026.
25, it's
So
4
it's a
years.
long time to be committed to
25,
a
yes.
figure.
Yes.
But we really need to see the details.
Oh, yeah, the
Perhaps.
contract's being turned over. It would be turned over, yes. We'll make sure.
Mr. Vigic?
And there's, most federal money, there's some significant penalties if you don't follow the guidelines. Sometimes it's like, Medicare triple the cost of that, so that you charge it up pretty good if you don't follow the rules. So make sure you.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you have a problem with amending that recommendation to not only have review and approval by corporate counsel, but also by the board? Whether they want to assign me or whatever.
Mr. Barsha?
It also might be helpful in terms of whatever the board decides they want to fund with the ARP money to make sure it doesn't get clawed back in the future, or as Commissioner Begic just suggested, us facing penalties for some kind of, very, minor interpretation of what is appropriate and what wasn't appropriate in spending. So as we determine how that $20 million is going to be spent, I know the Congressman Kilde's office has a staff person that can check with US Treasury, but it may be helpful as we look at some of the projects that in spending of the ARP money, that it may be helpful. Would that be helpful to make absolutely sure it's an appropriate expenditure so that we don't face repercussions afterward?
Okay.
Apologize, I'm recovering from a little sickness I had over the weekend, so should be wearing my mask.
So the original motion is as it's written, and that was seconded. So, Mr. Redmond, do we need to vote on that first before it's modified, or can it be
If
modified?
the executive accepts the changes, then you don't have to do it, you can just approve it.
So, Mr. Krieger, are you
Yes,
the changes?
yes,
Okay,
we're good.
we're good? Okay, so it's been amended to include the length of the contract, right? And have it reviewed and approved by the corporate attorney and the board prior to execution, correct, Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson?
Yes.
Krieger?
Yes,
Bradley?
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. Are there any referrals? Nope. Unfinished business? New business?
I don't know if it fall under new business, but I think Joe Strauss is on board. Joe, are you there? Nope.
He was, and he's gone.
All right, so maybe for the full board, I'd like him to address us and give us an update of where we're at with the Delta variants in Bay County.
Okay.
And a little accolade to Joel, he's devised a proposal that will allow avoiding mandatory masking from K through 12 from the school system. That's been very well accepted, both Midland and Saginaw counties, sort of focusing on those students and staff who are exposed to a positive case. And then they could be tested, or they can be quarantined for 5 calendar days. But it'll be an option that I think will be more acceptable to the majority of parents who are concerned about school districts and protecting our staff, our teachers, our students, and He put a lot of work into it, and I think it reflects somewhat of a compromise. And also the infections can vary from one district to another. I recently heard we might have a mandatory masking by a school board. There was a spike in one of the school districts, and that's up to the school board to make that determination. But the county health department will do everything they can to put the protocols in place to make sure that we mitigate any breakouts with the Delta variant.
I assume there's no need for a closed session. Our attorney's not here, right? No, okay. Miscellaneous? Announcements. Mr. Bigot?
Having a pet adoption this Saturday from 9 to 2 at the canteen. It's sponsored by the Bay City Lions Club, but the profits go to the animal services and the leader dogs in Michigan also. So that's bring your dog out, walk your dog, adopt a dog. There'll be vendors there to sell you stuff for your dog or your cat.
Nice.
Come on out.
Jamie?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you raised
Nope.
your hand to share.
You're good.
Mr. Barsha.
I think I was,
Oh, Mr.
Just want to add to what Juan said, as a
Okay.
fellow Bay City Lion, we're excited. Again, this will be the third year. Last year, I think $1,800 was turned over to the animal shelter, and we're hoping that this will be as successful or more. And it'll be from 9 to 2, as Juan mentioned, Saturday. Got a nice little flyer. We've been promoting it on Bay County TV and also through social media. So hopefully it'll be a good turnout, and I want to credit Sandy Fisk and all the volunteers from the Great Bay City Lions Club for all their efforts on helping our pets in Bay County and raising badly needed resources for the shelter.
And along those lines, when you get your newly adopted pet, in Pinconning at the Friendship Shell on Wednesday, September 22nd, they are doing pictures with Santa, do a spin around the dog park. It's from 5 until 8 p.m. at the band shell. So it's a fundraiser for the dog park. So when you get your new puppy or your elderly dog or middle-aged dog, then bring it to Pinconning for a photo op.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Yes.
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 Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for being here.